All right. What's up, brothers and sisters? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And I was listening to something. All right. And I watched a particular video, and a lot of my comments on this Kevin Samules phenomenon is coming from a few of these videos that have been sent to me. And there were some things that I picked up on these videos that Kevin Samuels says, in which I don't think he realizes the gravity of these things. And logically, I wouldn't think he realized the gravity of some of these things because of the point of view that we both come from when we address things. He addressed things from the position of people trying to be millionaires and the things that they would need to maintain that level of success in business. In other words, the very system I am against, he is kind of for. All right? So I want y'all to understand that. But we both agree that that what we are for is the better for a society or men or whatever. And there may be some argument about that one way or the other. But that isn't where this video comes in. And I don't think that Kevin Samuels understands the epiphany of one of his statements, because he would not have read Genesis translated. In my opinion, he may have. But given a lot of his videos, he doesn't talk about the deeper translations and what things really meant from the point of view of the Hebrews, and that we were the Hebrews, and that this thing translated throughout Afro culture. All right. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. First, let me greet everybody. Bonjour, mes amis. Quero dawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama. Sani bonani. Jambo habayagani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. Kamusta ka, kamusta porcayo, and talafa lava soy fua. Hey, what's up, brother? All right. So, one of the things, let's go with this. That the two individuals that we are to take care of with children are widowers and women whose children are bastards. Okay, that's scripture. That's scripture. That's Bible. Now that's Bible. All right. Our issue is here. Hold on for a second. Okay, that just popped up. But our issue is that here, that the BW think that they could wear out the center part by parting their legs for thugs and all of that stuff. All right, then go away from weave, and they're good, and we should accept that. And even when it looks like this, a lot of brothers and so-called high-value men are not accepting this, not anymore. Many brothers who have gone and left the country and went to another country like Honduras or something, Brazil, Colombia, they're tired. They're like, oh my goodness, you mean this is dignity and respect? I like this thing called dignity and respect. Some of us had it for a while because of our careers, like me, military. A level of respect comes when you make sergeant. Just not in the dating game. They just see you as someone they can use a little better. Oh, he a sergeant. He got a little more money. All right. And so this is where we're at. So what was the statement that he made? The statement that Kevin Samuel makes over and over again is that men could survive without women, but women cannot survive without the men. Let me repeat that. He said men can survive without women, but the women cannot survive without the men. We're talking about prolonging extinction. We're talking about that without replacing ourselves, that the women would just die out quickly. The men would survive. The human race would not live, would not prosper, because you need both the men and the women for the human race to prosper and live. But merely survival, the men will always out-survive the women, no matter what argument that the women try to put up. All right, and when the woman tried to put up an argument, Kevin Samuels made this statement to rebut that argument, and that goes into this video right here. And the statement he made is, what are you going to do when you have a baby? Not if, but when you have a baby. Because most of these females that's coming and calling on his show, they will go out and still give up the goods to Pookie and Ray Rays. So that's an accurate statement. When you have a baby, what happens then? He said, when you have a baby, you can't leave the baby. You can't hunt for food. You can't do anything. You got to stick with that baby. That baby's going to cry and bring predators to you. And if there's nothing to protect you, how do you and the baby survive? How do you survive? Because now you're in a weakened condition, at least for a bit. All right? So what do you do with the baby? This when the epiphany hit. All right? Now, let's explain what's going on. With this whole scenario. So we're here. Genesis 3:16. It's the punishment. That's where we are. And I didn't really contemplate until that statement how grievous of a punishment that this is, that he has given to the woman for what she did in the garden. Now, for the people that's not going to understand what exactly happened in the garden and why the woman's punishment was so harsh and the man basically didn't get punished, the ground got punished where he would have to work it in order to yield food, but he did not get punished directly. The Most High punished the Nahash directly and the woman directly with some pretty stiff punishments. And you really don't realize how stiff the punishment is until that comment that Kevin Samules said to this woman to rebut her what happens when a woman have a baby. A woman, when she has a baby, right, is totally left to her own devices and in a much weaker state than she was without the baby. All right, a woman have a hard time leaving the baby once it come out of her. This is why the abortion is so successful. These women get the people to come and destroy the life of that baby while it's yet in her womb and she hasn't seen it. And so until she starts coming down with breast cancer and all the rest of that stuff, and having to deal with the fact that she destroyed a life that was in her womb, when this decision is made, she doesn't have nothing to see. So it's an easier decision than it is to abandon a baby. But just think about how many females do that without a problem. All right. So he said, I will greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. Conception is the period of time from the time the woman receives the sperm to the time she delivers the child. It is now generally 9 months with no complications, right? Another point he made, that until modern medicine, many women died during pregnancy. All right? Until men came up with ways to make pregnancy easier, many women died during pregnancy. So now we look at this long conception, and then the Most High said, bring forth children in pain. Now, remember I told you they mistranslated the word that they used and got husband, and the word should have been that her desire is for the position of the man. The Most High told her that in her mind that she desires the position of the man. All right? But he says, no, but I'm going to put you in check. The man does rule over you. Why? Because we have to. All right? There is such a weakened state. By the way, what this woman did to incur this much of a wrath is she slept with Azazel, or in this case, the serpent in the garden. And she learned witchcraft from him. So, when it said fruit is the knowledge of witchcraft. The tree is the group of people that teaches the knowledge. And the Most High said, don't touch or eat of the fruit. And she touched them by sleeping with them. See what I mean? So, now, let's break this down some more. Elohim called to Adam and said to him, where are you? Right? And he, the male, said, I heard a voice in the gardens and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself. And he said, who? Not what. Who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you should not eat? So, eating is not a thing where you're consuming food. Eating is, in this context, means, have you learned knowledge that I told you not to learn? Were you taught knowledge? did you go and seek out knowledge and sit and learn this knowledge that I commanded you not to learn? And the man said, the woman you gave with me, she gave me the knowledge and I learned. All right. Now, understand this. The Most High, Elohim, said to the woman, what did you do? Notice how he addresses the man. Who gave you this knowledge? To the woman is, what in the hell did you do? Y'all, she done messed everything up to the other mighty ones up in there. Right? All right. And so, when this happens, she said to him, the Nahash deceived me. All right. And so, this is why the punishment for the Nahash was severe and the punishment for the woman was severe. But I really never took time to understand, or I didn't really get how severe this punishment was to the woman until listening to that commentary and that go-between between Kevin Samules and this woman he had on his show. And here's the thing, I don't even think he understands the gravity of what he's saying, in that the punishment that she gets for being a single mother comes from this punishment that the Most High told her, that she was going to have sorrows all the days of her life. See, this is what the Most High knew. When he was looking at these women, he saw a group of women that desired the position of the men. He saw in the future these women was not going to need no man. He saw that these women were going to forsake the good men and get with the wicked. He saw that these women would choose to be single mothers. All right? And so I kept telling people, we just, as men, need to just get out of the Most High's way. Because the punishment is that the choices that they make will be their punishment. Did y'all get that? The choices that they make will be their punishment. Understand this. The choices that they make will be their punishment. Y'all understand that? So, I'm having a conversation with a woman in Colombia. And I want to break down that conversation a bit. As you see that even when we see this, these poses, these Instagram women are losing flavor too. You know why? Because we tired of them too. And we're seeing them as fake. We're seeing this as makeup. We're seeing this as fake up. Now, the other thing I want you to understand is that these women had decided, oh, we better start wearing afros, even if we got to go get an afro wig. But the cat's out the bag that mostly they're fake and they don't look like this. It's a bunch of, as we say, fake up. So the men are tired. Now, let me take a time out real quick to say that my Cash App and PayPal me is in the description box. Click the thumbs up button. If you're going to subscribe to get my content, don't forget to go back and click that bell. There's a bell, right? A notification bell. All right, if you want to get my content, and this is mainly important for lives. If not, I don't really care about the subscribing, but I want to hear your comments on this. All right, and don't forget to look in the description box also for my email. All right, but I want to hear your comments on this because I've been sending my videos out on email now so that y'all will get them. All right, so let's continue on. These women had decided to forsake the Afro man, the good man. But that isn't what the main deal is. While forsaking us, what they decided to do is lambaste, talk bad about, and put out a false narrative that much of the Afro male community is nothing but a bunch of garbage that don't make no money, that don't work, that don't do this, that don't do that. Oh, and that most of us are not responsible in our children making, and we're the ones running around. A bunch of us Afro men, and when you listen to them tell their lie, to the tune of 80% are running around making all these babies, when the truth of the matter is that these females are choosing to go leave the Afro men alone, which they get to do that. All right, but when they do, they promote it. They promote it high, and they promote it wide. All right, understand this. They promote it high and they promote it wide. All right, and then they get other BWs to join in. But the truth of the matter is that most Afro men take care of their responsibility. Over 70% that are not married, who have child support, take care of that. 51% of Afro men, 52% of Afro men do not have children at all currently. 36% of Afro men are married. So right there. There's 88% of the Afro men who are responsible, but they get the blame. The following 18% of the men, all right, that's coming out of jail. So these women are sleeping with primarily dudes coming out of prison and thugs to the tune of 61%, and that 61% of the men with multiple children from multiple babies' mamas are dudes that came out of jail. But they are quick to blame the Afro man. Then after they blame the Afro man and see us leaving to go to the islands, to go anywhere but here to get a woman, now they're trying to make themselves in the image of the island women, but all we see is baggage. All right, the first part of that baggage that we see, the first part is you have little children running around from Pookie and Ray Ray. But what we didn't see was Kevin Samuels' greatest point in my view, because of my spiritual knowledge of things, that when he made that argument with that woman, I got a lot out of just a couple of things that he said. Now, I still ain't going to just follow his show like that. But some of the stuff he says is interesting, and it is for rich men. But us regular guys, you know, the 70, 80, 60, 70, 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000 a year men. All right? The ones that can travel and go somewhere else and get us a feminine woman, all right, we out. We're out. And in our place is a vacuum, because no one wants to deal with a single mom with children because of all the wickedness that they've done in the United States. However, they will go to another country and deal with even a BW that has a child, because in these cases, these aren't women that took the children from the fathers and used the system to get a child support check. In many of these cases, these children are going to be bastard children. In many of these cases, these are going to be much younger women looking for a man to lead them. And you could tell this by conversation. In the conversation that I'm having, and I'm talking about the younger women that's after the older men. They're looking for leadership. They're not looking, they have this child, and as the punishment, that child is more of a punishment than a blessing, because they're doing it alone. Children are a blessing, but they're a blessing if you do it in the way that the Most High said do it. And the women have the child from a responsible man that wants to be a father, or that don't mind being a father, or that is prepared to be a father. So, this pops back up. And this is the light that comment sheds on these females. When you are a single mom with children, not only is it a burden, but because of how you came to that situation, it is a punishment for the female in a way that it is not for a man. The state has to step in and punish the man, but the only men being punished are the good ones, so they're not having these children from these women, nor are they taking care of another man's seed. And the men that are responsible for this, well, they were a punished man already coming out of the prison system, so what more can you do to them? All right? Which then leaves these women a prisoner of their own decisions, where their decision came back to bite them in the behind in such a way that it fulfills this first punishment after the fall, where he said, the Most High said to the woman, I will greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. You will bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for the man's position. The position that the women want, you see it now. They want the man's position with the benefits of being a woman, with the accountability of children. I need to put that man's quote in the description box for my last video. So at the end of the day, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we ain't having it no more. All right? These women, not only are they going to hit the wall alone, all right, but they're going to hit this wall. They're going to hit this wall with dogs or cats, but no human in sight. And in many cases, the dog is going to die before the woman. And they're going to be left alone because their children are not going to want this burden. Think about that. Oh, and for us travelers, yeah, this is a no depolicing zone. But while the hoteps and stuff try to depolice, we're saying, well, why don't you be Johnny Hero? Oh, yeah. Most of the hoteps are them dudes that came out of the prison system that do, and a lot of them are still on that wacky tobacco. Some of them turned their life around, but that's not the majority. Think about that. So even then, the BW don't even have a choice to run back to when we talk about stability. With that said, I'm out.